In 1963, Alfred Hitchcock made the horror masterpiece The Birds. It was a master of acting, suspense, and visual effects.
And then in 2010 and 2013, James Nguyen gave us these pieces of shit.
And even though I despise these movies, I'm gonna try and say nice things about them before I totally rip them to shreds. What this movie does fine is freeze, fight, flight, forfeit. Because in the movie, the main characters are either running from the birds or fighting the birds with wire hangers and umbrellas and toy guns painted to look like real guns. Half the time, they just roam around finding people just to say they're dead. So there's that. Another thing this movie does well is hunter nurture, because in the first Birdemic, female character Natalie was taking care of these two orphan kids right after their parents got murdered. In the second Birdemic, there's just a few more female characters. That's it. That's it in the second one. It's pretty much the only thing. It's the same as the first one. Also did good, I guess. Common fate, because in both movies, including the third one coming out, it follows the same narrative with the story. This is a synopsis pretty much for all the movies, including the third one, even though it's not even out yet. It usually starts with the male character walking down a sidewalk for a little bit, and then they enter the restaurant where they meet the female character, and then they start talking for what feels like an eternity. Then you see into their daily life, and then a boardroom scene happens where everything is going great for the main characters, and in the boardroom everyone just starts clapping. And there's incredibly forced environmental messages sprayed all over the place. Then the main character and the female character go to a dance club, and after that unholy acts are committed. And then the birds finally attack. In their god-awful CGI. Meet random people along the way. Some half-assed environmental message is thrown into the mix, and then the birds attack again. Then at the end, the birds just fly off into the ocean or into the sky. That's it. That's freaking it! The second one, there's slightly different, but it's still the same freaking formula. The new main character is a director and a struggling actress. And the main characters from the first movie.
Alright, and now on to the bad stuff.
Wabi Sabi in this movie is done horribly. It tries to have philosophical messages, but all it does is have insufferable, preachy environmental messages. The sets, or lack thereof, are just average houses and buildings. The main problem with Wabi Sabi in this movie is that there is no change in story. Both of them are the goddamn same! The only thing that is improved is the camera in the second one, and it kind of makes it feel worse. In the first one, the camera was low quality, but it still had some type of charming thing about it, because it had an extra low budget. Also, there was a charm about the terrible CGI birds, but with the second one, they tried improving things, and it just made things worse. It is not as charming as the first one, because they are trying to poke fun at the first one, and trying to be self-aware, and it fails miserably. Composition in these movies is absolutely abysmal. With shot composition in these movies, the camera is off-centered, the lighting is off in each scene, it gets brighter and darker every time it cuts. The audio is off, it cuts off every once in a while. The birds. Dear God, the birds! They are composed into each shot, and it is horrendous. And some of the shots that are supposed to be there, they're not there! I could show you a scene without context, and it would prove my point.
Everyone, we're making a movie!
Not the birds!
I work at a startup company called NCT Software.
See? Oh, I forgot iteration. There is no iteration. Nothing is refined in these movies. Every scene in this movie looks like it took 5 minutes to set up. There's no detail in these movies. The budget looks like it was $20, even though for both of them, it's $10,000. The CGI and the birds look like something I could download off of the Source Filmmaker Workshop. Whew! That was a bit therapeutic. The first Birdemic is more enjoyable than the second one, because it has a certain charm that carries it, but the second one is just fucking terrible. I had to go on to Tubi just to rewatch these stinkers, and part of me doesn't regret it, and another part of me does. So, it was fun to look over this, and you all owe me therapy.